Okay, hello, it's Garnet. We're working away here still at the commentary video series that goes step by step through the entire Neuralite Practical Guide for Beginners. We're in the Help Right Now section, and I'm on page 18 where I'm giving you a whole list of session suggestions. Beginning with General Brain Wellness number 1, General Brain Wellness number 2, General Brain Wellness number 3. In the previous video, I discussed this fact. I believe that there are 25, if I'm remembering, 25 different issues here. General brain wellness, stress, anxiety, grief, new learning, creativity, meditation, sleep, jet lag. That's me soon. I'm going, this is September 13th, the 25th. I'm flying to the U.S. It's 2017. So jet lag will be an issue. Anger, depression, and so on. So here is a tremendous resource. I mean, my God, you know, if you're new to the Neuralite and you want to begin working in Help Right Now, which is a great place to begin, as well as appreciating the brain exercise, you know, if you didn't have this, it would probably take you, God knows, a long time to be able to have a sense of the relationships of all these different compositions and how to sequence them and so on. Well, boom, here it is. You've just jumped over a huge canyon of learning to the other side. So look through. I'm not going to read them all. Of course, you can read them for yourself. But for example, here, I'll pick one. Okay, overthinking. That happens to be on my page 23. It's number 37, 38, and 39 in the listing. So here you see that you've got overthinking number 1, overthinking number 2, overthinking number 3. So let's say, okay, I'm going to choose overthinking number 2. You know that in the user interface of the Neuralite, meaning on the screen of your smartphone or tablet or computer, that if you choose any session, any composition, and you hit, you know, that show, it gives you a description. I've also created an entire document of all the compositions with all of those. It's in that monster reference document that some of you have. It's just a huge collection. It turns out to be 180 pages. There was a time when I was doing a great deal of posting on Facebook. And of course Facebook is weird, you know, the post is there and like 20 minutes later you try to find it and it seems to be gone. So I collected a big number of the Facebook posts, put them all together, more or less by category, and then a number of other documents that I had created that you can find in the website, theneuralite.com. Theneuralite.com. Go there, you see the home page, to the right down a little bit there's a big kind of gold yellow thing for learning. Click on that, it opens up, and what you see, level 1, level 2, level 3 learning. This is before I began making videos, so what you'll find there are PowerPoint type slides with a lot of topics. You're going to see some audio recordings of trainings, meaning hear only, no seeing, unlike these videos. And also a number of documents, lots of documents, some of them very special. I've included some of those in the Monster Reference Guide, but if you don't have that, just go to the website and you're going to see everything that's there. Now, in the website design right now, when you want to see something, view online, you click that, but there's also a button to download. That's not functioning. I'm sorry. If you want the printout, if you want a digital document of all the brain skill compositions, all the descriptions, all the categories, ask me for it. Ask me for the Monster Reference document. Monster, I just called it Monster because it was so big. Go to theneuralite@gmail.com, not the website. Go to the gmail.com, theneuralite@gmail.com. That'll come to me and say, Garnet, please send me the Monster document. And part of that document, the 180 pages of it, I don't know if you want to print out the whole thing, but you could just find, because there's an index, it'll guide you to it, the big fat document where all of these brain skill compositions are described. Okay, so that's that. Coming back to this, I'm on page 23, number 38, overthinking. To break it down according to what we had described before in the last video. A, B, C, right? So you could do just A, or just B, or just C of number 38. If you only had time for one session, or they only have the capacity for the demand of one session, then you could choose one of those three. That's great. If you wanted to have two, keep the sequencing, right? Don't serve dessert first, as much as it might please me. Follow the concept. First things first, and one thing follows another. So you could do A and B, or you could do B and C. So I could do looking within, followed by better intuition. Okay? Or I could do better intuition, followed by mind peaceful. Or I could do A and C, meaning I could do looking within and mind peaceful. So remember, you could do either A alone, B only, C only. That's fine. That's one composition. If you want to do two, keep the sequencing. You can do A and B and C, or A and C. And of course you have the option, if they have the capacity and the time, do three in a row, A, then B, then C. So looking within, better intuition, mind peaceful. These are all advanced, by the way. Did you notice that, if you're following it? Advanced cognition, and advanced peace. So, you know, if the person is overthinking, then, you know, it tends to be an energized state. Vitality tends to be higher. Low vitality, low capacity usually doesn't have as a transitory state overthinking. Usually there's like, I can't think. So you don't see any of the foundation. I guess the only one that is sort of in that concept would be the default mode network from the brain gym. So when you look at overthinking number 1, number 2, and number 3, that's number 37, 38, and 39, notice that these choices, they have sort of personality aspects to them, but they also have relative levels of demand. Now, one of the ways to decrease demand, remember, you go looking for foundation, well, I don't see them here. Number 2, don't do so many compositions, just do 1 or 2. If they're overthinking but the vitality is low, then, you know, there's no sense in like the wave washing over their head. You know, keep them in the shallow end of the pool. You can also fuss down the light intensity. Let's look at one more before we leave this. Let me see. Okay, why not? Frustration. It happens to be just down a little bit. I'm still on my page 23, depending on how you print out. But this is number 43, 44, and 45. So let's look at number 45. That's frustration number 3. You notice it starts with brain harmony. That's foundational cognition. Then it goes to soften anger. That's intermediate mood. Then it goes to mind bright. That's advanced peace. So here you see how it's kind of ramping from a lower level of demand to a middle to a higher level of demand as it unfolds. You know, over time, print it out. I would highly recommend. You know, leaf through it, get used to what's there. If you want, you could even do just a very short, like a one-page thing, where you just write the 25 categories, you know, ability, abuse, addictive craving, blocked, overwhelmed. So you could just go, oh yeah, you know, this fits this person. Then you go to your bigger document and see the breakdowns. I would say that. This is gold. This is such a great resource to have in the Neuralite Help Right Now concept. This approach is just really great. think the only thing, and I'm repeating myself, what can reduce the effectiveness of this is if you don't pay attention to capacity and demand. Going back to that massage example, it may be that their body does best with soothing, nerve reflex, skin stroking, acupressure, and then they get help right now, and you jump in with some kind of, myofascial stretching, deep release, and you're also a little bit of a caveman, you use a lot of force, like, geez, the person may at the end of it kind of regret that they even tried to get help right now because they feel like, that was a bit too much. So just be cautious with that. 1 to 3 sessions is reasonable. Sometimes you can do 2 in a day depending on the circumstance. Recognize that what you're doing here is you're modifying a short-term state. That state can be transitory and unusual, which means that was great, and it's a walk away after a few sessions. I feel fine, thank you. Or it can be an aggravation of a trait bubbling up into this state. In that case, you can reduce the aggravation, but the trait will still remain there. You will have to go into other further aspects. So that's the help right now. And I'm going to come back in just a moment with the very last aspect for help right now, the neuroplastic reinforcements. That's next.